I'll sit in my car, and normally it's because, and even today it's a little bit windy, as you can see. I want to make sure that you get that the sound quality is good, because obviously I don't want to be uploading and then you can't hear what I'm saying, but also sometimes I'm in like the wrong location where there's too much people, so that's the reason. But today it's quite quiet, so I'm able to do this live stream here, and at least you've got a nice view. So what I want to talk about is something which I think a lot of you are going to be able to relate to. I find this topic really interesting, about like validation and about self-esteem, and it's called approval addiction. And it's based on a talk by Alan Watts. So you can go on YouTube. If you want to see the full talk, then it's called Stop Caring, Start Leaving. And it's this idea that anything you want to, all I've done is I've got little sound bites from it, and then I'm going to just, expand on them. So the first thing he says is anything you must grip tightly to Keith was never yours to begin with. So he talks about this idea of learning to let go of things, stop holding on to things so tightly that you are saying, unless I have these things, I'm not going to be happy, because he's saying that you can be happy without these things, but you need to make a decision that they're not important to you. So the next comment that he made was, as long as you're chasing the applause of others, you're not free. You're performing. You're living on a stage built by someone else, following a script you never wrote, for an audience who might never even clap. So most people live their lives this way. They're constantly adjusting who they are just to be accepted, liked or tolerated. This was really important because obviously as a counsellor and a coach, I work with lots of people who are people pleasers. We call it people pleasing, but really it's about this idea, and thank you to everyone that's joined. It's about this idea of changing yourself and doing things based on what you feel other people want. So you lose yourself in the process because you're constantly saying, well, if I do this, then, this person will like me. And it can be strangers, but it can also be people close to you. So he says, approval is a moving target, because what earns you praise today might earn you criticism tomorrow. What pleases one person one day, but then the next day they might turn around and say, well, that's not good enough now. I need you to do something else. So what he's saying is that really your sense of who you are and your approval should be based on you, and it shouldn't be based on another person. And the next thing he says is freedom begins when approval ends. So thank you to people. Thanks, Raptor. Thanks, Nelly or Nell, or Neil, which however it's said, pronounced. So this idea really is that you don't really need approval, because if you want true freedom as a person, as an individual, and you want to live your life in the best way you want to live your life, then that freedom means that you don't need approval from anyone else. Hi, Ranji. And he goes on to say that if your sense of self is tied to approval, then so is your peace. So let me say that again for you. If your sense of approval, if your sense of self is tied to approval, then then so is your peace. I'm not like saying this quite. Hi, okay, man, okay, Maine. So listen to this. Then he says, you become a puppet yanked by invisible strings, a pull from society, a pull from your peers, a pull from your family, and soon you've lost yourself trying to keep everyone comfortable. So you become a puppet because you're so concerned with what other people think about you that you lose yourself. You're not acting in a way that's authentic. You're being fake. You're being based on conditions. You're acting so that you can get validation. And he says lots of people are living in this way because they feel that's all they feel that they know, or that's all that they've been taught, or that's all that they feel is the right thing to do. So he turns around, he says, what I've had to do, because this speech was so powerful, it was like a 34-minute speech, and what I ended up having to do is writing down the sound bites from it, but realizing that there's so much to it. You were meant to be real and authentic. This means disappointing other people sometimes. This means not being liked sometimes, and that's the price of liberation. So once you start needing people to clap for you, you finally hear the silence where your real voice ends. So this idea of being real and authentic, you have to learn that it is going to be a sacrifice. It's not going to be easy, because there's going to be lots of people which don't understand it. They don't get it. They're going to be saying, why are you being different? Why are you trying to think you're better than everyone else? People will mock you. As it says, to be yourself is to risk standing alone, to risk rejection, being ridiculed, being misinterpreted, But the cost of not being yourself is much higher. It's the slow death of your spirit, and no amount of approval can fill the void of abandonment. So anyone joining, feel free to leave comments as well. So it's this idea that to really be authentic and to live the type of life which not many people live because people are too scared to, means that lots of people are not going to understand you. People are probably going to call you names. People are probably going to say, oh, you're a bit weird, or who do you think you are? You think you're better than everyone else. But it's worth the risk, because what he's saying is that if you just walk around like not being yourself, this is why when I'm working with clients as a counsellor and a coach, you see the difference between the people that are taking that risk. They're saying, you know, maybe I can't have certain people in my life anymore. Maybe I do have to go down a different path, you know, and the sacrifice that I make is going to be worth it. Whereas other people who are living as people pleasers, they're never happy, because you're constantly doing things for other people. People who are living in a way that's not authentic to them. They're not showing their culture. They're not showing their identity. They're not wearing the clothes they want to wear. They're not going to the places they want to go to because they're scared of what other people will think. So he says, we're not here to be validated. We're not on earth we're here to rise, to shine, to exist fully as yourself. You're not here to conform or to impress, because most people are fearful that they're not enough on their own. So I'm just going to say, there's just this one, there's two more things to just mention. So this idea is, a lot of people are actually scared of like the idea, if they didn't need validation, so if they were not getting validation from people on social media, if they're not get told what to do by the the media, if they were not getting told what to do by their friends, their family, hi Zach, then their fear is that they would have to stand up for themselves. They would have to stand up and make their own decisions. They would have to be themselves, and they're scared that they're not going to feel enough. And he says it's a lie. It's a lie that we're telling ourselves, because you will be enough if you're on your own. You will be enough if you're authentic. Hi, Zach, what's going on? I'm just talking about this approval addiction, it's called, by Alan Watts. So, yeah, okay. So that's what he's trying to say, is it's a lie. We've been built on this lie that we need validation, we need reassurance, we need constantly to be told by other people what we need to do, how we need to think, what we need to look like, who we need to, what group we need to belong to. And he says none of that matters, because you are enough on your own if you just stand up. And he says the moment you stop seeking approval, you become magnetic. You radiate authenticity. Not everyone's going to like you, but the people who do like you will appreciate your realness. So they'll see the realness and they'll see the authenticity, and then they'll decide that, this is strange because I'm not used to this. Because in a world full of fakeness, in a world full of people being not themselves, when we do see someone who's authentic, it says that it will be magnetic, it will be different, because people will be like, oh, this is someone that speaks up for themselves. Oh, this is someone that dresses the way they want. This is someone that acts the way they want. So that's really what the end message is about. So you've put today. Oh, I can't read what you've put because it's in a different language. I think it might be in Spanish. But hello, Ranjitni, and everyone else that joined. And so, yeah, that is my talk for today. And I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it interesting. Please feel free to share it with other people. Feel free to... that's okay. Feel free to share it with other people, and I will see you again on another live stream. So you've put, again, I can't, I'll probably have to do the translate button because I can't see. It's in a different language. Have you put Brazil? What are the top 5 ways of, okay, so I'm not going to answer that question, obviously, CR7 King, because I'm not going to talk to someone about ending their life, which you can understandably know why. So thank you everyone for joining, and I'll speak to you all soon. Have a great week. Bye.